We've got Hollandia Row Club from the Netherlands, the Dutch. And then we've got the Dutch. My money's on the Dutch.
I think you're probably right, Tim.
And we'll keep an eye as the boat on the right, on the buck station, heading out towards the middle of the water, and immediately the umpire is trying to return them to that racing side. Rooster Jong and Boonstra in the buck station boat, and they're still loitering out in the middle of the water, and they've really lost their bearings there, haven't they?
Well, my rower spidey senses tingling. I wonder whether that was an accident or a deliberate tactic. Jury's out. I mean, these two crews will know each other very well. I was only just recently reminded of Nathaniel Riley O'Donnell versus Mahe Drysdale, where he did a move very similar to try and put off the Olympic champion. I don't know whether that was deliberate or not. Nevertheless, what we can see is canvas or half a canvas of slight lead. So let's see how this race unfolds.
It's a bold tactic if it's deliberate, isn't it? Because you're adding quite a few meters to what is already a long race.
Well, that's the beauty of match racing, is that you want to, of course, go from A to B as fast as you possibly can. But because you only have one component, you just need to get your bow in front of the line. And in an ideal world, you would not be able to influence your opponent. But this is the real world, and we know that you can. We know that human beings are human beings. So these crews will know each other well. And what we're seeing right now is beautiful, long, connected sculling, which is a pleasure to watch from my eyes.
It's really interesting, that. So what you're saying is you can actually interfere with your opposition's performance to a point, in a clever, subtle, psychological sort of a way.
Well, look, there are rules to Henley Royal Regatta. You need to stay on your station. And with any elite sport, you are always making sure that you're up to the line of the rules, so not breaking any rule, but you are trying to maximise your performance.
Yes. So you're just nudging there what you can do, and you can, which in six-lane racing you really can't, because you've got too much going on. If you're in lane 1 and you're trying to influence something going on in lane 5 or 6, good luck to you. Whereas here, you can just get in their heads a bit more, can't you?
Yeah, there's a huge psychological component to this match racing when you compare it to a 6-lane, multi-lane racing format. This is a lovely shot of this Dutch double. Interestingly enough, all four athletes, only 3 Henley appearances between all four, despite the very high caliber and high skill. We can see that they seem to have already done the business and got a few lengths of lead, which is where you want to be on the Friday of Henley Royal Regatta.
Very high quality field here on the Berkshire station. You can see there Opzeeland and Keijser, who are very experienced rowers on the international circuit. We see them regularly.
And interestingly, they're coached by, I think, the former cox of the Dutch 8. So Beijing, London, Rio. He will have steered this course many, many times. So I'm sure the crew chat beforehand would have been, how do we get a pure racing line? Where are the markers? We know this course is so unique compared to a 2K format. You've got different markers like the barrier, Forley, the mile. You know, what does that mean if you're used to 2,000-meter racing on the Olympic format?
Keijser, who won bronze at the Olympics in Tokyo. An example of how good these boats are. In the boat, she's in the boat that's trailing at the moment on the Berkshire station. Here we can see the pair of Rooster Jong and Boonstra.
And look, this is one of the world's fastest crews at the moment. They're setting it in the mix for the medals. I think they were in second in the Varese World Cup recently. So they've got a lot of speed, and they will be thinking about the subsequent rounds and trying to get this boat across the line in first place on Sunday. But what we're seeing is some beautiful sculling technique. For those of you new to rowing, welcome, and have a look at this. Beautiful placement of all 4 oars, lovely symmetry, and those legs, if I can just offer to you that they are pressing the boat forward in a nice accelerated way. That's just what you want to see.
So the race settling in nicely, and you can see the lead. But just look at this early moment back on Temple Island, where De Jong and Boonstra, who now lead the race, as we've seen, what they did at the start there, nosing out into the middle of the water, the umpire saying they need to get back onto the buck station, and they weren't in any great hurry to do that, were they? They, I won't say ignored the umpire, but they I think you said pushed it to the limits.
Well, I certainly don't think they ignored the umpire. You can see John Hedger there, the umpire, moving them back to their station. They move immediately. It's very difficult when you're at the start to line yourself up absolutely perfectly, particularly in the smaller boats without a rudder. So it might just have been that, but it was interesting to have that on the event straight off the bat.
Yeah, and look how they've got this race worked out now, so...
And what we used to say is, you can't really win a race off the start, but you can certainly lose it. And they're demonstrating that they've got fantastic boat speed, much more superior than the other double.
Once gave me a lift from Plovdiv in Bulgaria to Sofia, these two, when I was stranded after a rowing World Cup.
Not only are they good at sculling, but they're incredibly kind.
Generous with their space in their team coach. We're just about there at the end of this Heat 2 on the 4th day. The double Dutch contest comes to a close, and the winners, Roos de Jong and Bent Boonstra, comfortably over the line. I'm sure they'll have bragging rights there amongst their squad.